New at 11, the woman chosen to lead the state's largest school district lays out her vision for the future. Gwinnett County Schools hired Dr. Alexandra Estrella after a nationwide search. Earlier tonight, she held the first of 5 town halls scheduled for this month. Atlanta News First Justin Berger spoke with Dr. Estrella and parents about expectations for keeping students, staff, and educators safe.
After a year of searching, Gwinnett County is confident they've found the right person to lead Georgia's largest school district. Dr. Alexandra Estrella, the woman chosen to lead that district, is engaging her new community for the first time. The first of 5 town halls for Dr. Alexandra Estrella. She comes from a public school district in Connecticut, about 15 times smaller than Gwinnett County schools, but brings leadership experience from New York City's large public school system.
I think that experience totally checks the box for us.
Systemic leadership is the same whether small or large. The difference is that we're talking about working with a larger scope of individuals to ensure that the systems and structures needed to gain positive student achievement are attained.
Estrella gave a presentation and answered pre-submitted questions, highlighting her past, including a higher graduation rate in her Connecticut district and academic gains.
I was impressed with the foundation that she was laying out.
Jeremy Cavallero and his wife Elizabeth have 3 elementary schoolers in Gwinnett County schools. Their priority is school safety, which the district has previously invested in with a weapons detection system in every middle and high school. But they also want to make sure their kids have a good foundational education for their life after they graduate in this evolving world.
What I like about her is she's very performance oriented. I believe the gaps that we have in GCPS, multilingual learners, some special ed, chronic absenteeism, she is a proven performer in reducing those gaps and reducing chronic absenteeism.
Dr. Estrella says she'll be using her first 100 days in office to help inform her priorities. She'll be going from school to school and cluster to cluster to develop her strategic plan.
I think my biggest thing is to listen, learn, and understand what the needs and priorities of Gwinnett County are.
Now, Dr. Estrella will hold 4 more of those town hall style events next week across Gwinnett County in 4 different locations. Reporting from Discovery High School in Gwinnett County, Justin Berger, Atlanta News First.